makers. Today we are going to demonstrate a very simple method of creating a horse mount for Zed here. This is my shitty little sprite Zed. Don't make fun of him. He looks like crap. Jumping straight in. For our mount, we're going to want to put these variables in. You don't need attack unless you plan on attacking while on your mount or allowing your mount to deal damage. You don't need item use unless your mount is going to allow you to also use items at the same time. Global.dir. This here is very important. Global.dir is dictated by the direction that the player is facing, which in my project is dictated by the direction the player or the human player is pressing, be it up, down, left, or right. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3 for up, down, left, and right. Or up, right, left, down. And these will be our create event for our mount, our zombie horse. I want my dude to ride badass zombie horse, so that's what I'm going to make him ride. You can make yours whatever you want. I also did a spaceship and a snail, and the spaceship is capable of flying off planet to other planets in my project. For your sprites, you are going to need directional sprites. You're going to need a sprite that is moving in each direction. You'll need a 4-directional sprite for idle, which will go up, down, left, and right. You'll need a run left, which is this one. It's just a mirror of the run right. You need a run down, and you need a run up. If I didn't say already, you also need a single frame sprites for idle. That's going to be important in the code. So let's clean up our workspace. See, that's my ship and my snail. Okay. We are here. So next we're going to look at the step event for our zombie horse, or my zombie horse. Running. This variable will determine whether or not the player is in control of the player or the mount itself. My horse is set up so that when the player mounts, then object player gets destroyed, and then you take control of the horse because running is then true. When you get off the horse, running becomes false, and you'll get an instance create player, and it will put the player back into the world, and then the horse will go idle. Alright. You can ignore the attack part. For your movement, it's pretty simple. If keyboard check VK up and place free XY minus equals 3, which means your horse will go up 3 spaces when you press up, I think, or something like that. No, it's going to go up 5 spaces. if 3 spaces above it are free. And when going up, global.dir will equal 1. Again, that is set in the object player itself. And you can copy paste that block 4 times for your up, down, right, left, and then make your necessary changes. It is important to note that you should correspond your mouse sprites to your directions. It's a horse, so I want the horse to be able to move faster. So var action 2, which is not my controller scheme, but this is for testing purposes, keyboard check or in. And this is going to make in our sprint button. So you would then pretty much copy this bit of code, and you would add this to it, and action 2. So it would look like this. Okay. It would then look like that. So if we're pressing our direction and we're holding our action 2 button, the horse's speed will increase from 5 to 8. And of course, since we copy pasted, our directions and everything are already set up for us. You'll do that 4 times for up, down, left, right. And then you're going to slap this on the end. This bit of code is from a previous object that this is cloned off of. You do not need to worry about that. Slap this in the end of your code. These fars. Keyboard check B is how we are going to mount our horse. Action 2 is in, that's how we are going to sprint on our horse. For action 3, keyboard check pressed J, is how we get off of our horse. So, in the beginning, you're the player, and if distance to object O player is less than or equal to 20 pixels, and we press B. Running equals true, instance destroy O player. What this will do is kill off the player and create the movable mount, essentially changing the mount from idle to active, and now you're in control of the mount. If running equals true in action 3, which we've defined as being keyboard check pressed or J, running becomes false. Running equals false. Instance create layer x plus 20y minus 10 instances O player. Sprite index equals horse idle down. Image speed equals 1. What this chunk of code is going to do is when you are the mount and active and you choose to get off, the mount will become inactive and the player will be placed back into the game, and you will have control of the player and not the mount. The mount will then stay where it was left. Something that I think is worth noting when switching from player to mount, I noticed that my camera was going haywire. So, in my manager object that manages the camera, okay, pretty much this bit of code tells my camera to focus on the player and keep the player centered and make the view half of the room width and height. And that's great. The problem with that is when you mount the horse, player gets destroyed, so now the camera can't do this. It'll throw you an error. So what you'll need to do is copy and paste that code, and you make a few adjustments to it. Okay? So if your mount exists and not your player, then you will set these variables to focus on your mounts, X and Y. And that way, it'll switch back and forth. It's not pretty. It looks pretty shitty, actually. It's instantaneous, so you really don't notice it. But that's how that's handled. And if you have multiple types of mounts, you can copy, paste, etc., and make the necessary changes to do all that. So, with all that said and done, I'm going to give you a look at my O player. And in the O player step, let's see, where's my okay, somewhere in here, you'll see where the global.dir, yeah, see, when I move, my sprites change based on an enum, and when I do move and press a direction, the global.dir will change. So for up, global.dir equals 1. Global.dir is saved in my global object. Right there. Global.dir. Okay. So you'll need that. And in my O player, you see that when I press up, down, right, or left, global.dir changes 0, 1, 2, or 3. Oh, something's wrong there. 1, 3, 2, 4. I'll check that out later. I've got that that's wonky. So let's give our demonstration a run and see if our little guy Zed here has a horse that he can get on. Yes, I'm having one. You will survive. Here's Zed. There's our horse, and we are now on it. We can get off of it. I have a problem with my collisions there. Clearly a problem with my collisions. I'll fix that later. Or you can feel free to fix it on your own. Your project's not my project, so I don't know what you've got going. Yeah, looks like my collisions are way out of whack there. So, crap. Something else to fix later. Alright, well, it's been fun showing you this demonstration, and I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Thank you very much. And be sure to check out other YouTube channels, such as Sean Spalding and our friendly Cosmonaut. There's great knowledge to gain from there. And I hope to see you again in the future on another video. If you have any suggestions or criticisms, feel free to put them in the comment section, as we are always looking for ways to improve the content that we demonstrate and present to you. Thank you again.